Nathan Zegura here at M&T Bank Stadium, where the Browns fall in a heartbreaker, 23-20 to the Baltimore Ravens, dropping them to 2-5 on the season. It is the team's fourth straight loss, and it was a game that certainly felt winnable as it went on. But for the Browns, similar issues that have cost them in the past. Turnovers, special teams reared their ugly head today. I want to say this. I felt like the Browns defense turned in one of the best performances of the season today. The Browns outgained the Ravens. They held them to just 4 yards of play. They generated a takeaway when they needed it the most. In fact, they held Lamar Jackson to just 56 yards rushing, his lowest output, again, considering he was averaging 75 per game on the season. They held him under 6 yards a carry. He was averaging 8. They held Mark Andrews, the all-world tight end, a guy who had scored 7 touchdowns in his last 6 games against the Browns. They held him without a catch. I'll say it again, Mark Andrews didn't have a catch in this game, let alone a touchdown. And so defensively, you did a good job. Gus Edwards, sure, he ran for 66 yards, a couple of touchdowns, but he averaged about 4 yards a carry. The Browns defense played a lot of bend but don't break, but it was special teams and turnovers that undid them in this one. What do I mean by that? Well, we'll start with special teams. After getting out to a big start, they took the opening kickoff right down the field. Jacoby Brissett was so sharp today, finished off by a 2-yard Nick Chubb touchdown run. The Ravens would answer with a field goal. The Browns would answer on their second possession with a field goal. It was 10-3. Then we get into the second quarter. The Browns have a possession that goes backwards. A couple of Kareem Hunt runs for negative yards, backed up after a great punt by the Baltimore Ravens. Well, the Browns punted away. Devin Duvernay has a return of 46 yards. It's a short field for the defense. They do hold them to a field goal, but it was 3 plays, 5 yards, still in field goal range as the drive started near the Browns' 20. The Browns would go in down at halftime. After getting 2 sacks on the Ravens' opening possession, the Browns' first possession of the second half, Jacoby Brissett, sack strip fumble, Justin Houston, his second sack in as many plays, and again, it was a short field. They just had to go 20 yards, did the Ravens, and they did with a touchdown by Gus Edwards. So the Browns were down 20-10. They would add another field goal, it would be 23-10. The Browns would claw back. They'd get a field goal, 20-13. They would score a touchdown late, making it 20-20. And on that drive, they got back to basics, running the football. It was Nick Chubb. He'd finished the day with 16 carries for 91 yards and a score. It was Kareem Hunt who would punch it in for a touchdown. Jacoby Brissett on the day, 22 of 27. He only had 5 incompletions, over 250 yards, over 9 yards an attempt. He was so good, but the sack strip fumble, that played a big role. Those 2 short fields, 10 points for the Ravens, and when you lose by 3, you know that's a big deal. So how did we lose by 3? Well, after we scored, there were about 9 minutes or so left. The Ravens would just take it down the field, taking about 6 minutes off the clock. But the Browns and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah would come up with a huge forced fumble. The Browns rookie Isaiah Thomas would recover it, and the Browns had the ball now with about 3 minutes and change, down 3. On a third down, it was Jacoby Brissett to Donovan Peoples-Jones for 37 yards down the right sideline, and all of a sudden, you're near the 40 and in field goal range for Cade York with, again, plenty of time on the clock. In fact, so much time on the clock that the Ravens started to use their timeouts. And then here's where things got weird. I don't like to make excuses. The Browns should not have been in a position where referees could impact this game, but I believe today the referees did impact this game. The Browns threw a pass down the right sideline for Amari Cooper, a perfect ball from Jacoby Brissett. They called offensive pass interference, wiping out a touchdown that would have given the Browns the lead late in this game. So the Browns had to back it up to try to get back into field goal range on third down. They're able to do that. Again, that OPI, there was hand fighting between Amari Cooper and the corner to be sure, but it's not like he shoved him to the ground, a very minor infraction, and it wiped a touchdown off the board. Then the Browns get it back into field goal range, because remember, you lose 10 yards, now you're out of field goal range. They get into field goal range around the 36-37 of the Baltimore Ravens. They are lined up for the field goal. Calais Campbell and Travis Jones of the Ravens both come off sides. The Browns don't move. I watched about 12 replays of this in the booth. They don't move. After a long huddle from the officials, they call offsides on the Browns. The Browns are now backed up. It is now a 60-yard field goal. The Ravens, of course, Cade York has to hit it low to drive the football. The Ravens block it. and the Browns lose. They don't even get to put a field goal up at the uprights. They don't get a touchdown. It was taken off the board, and the Browns have to go back to Cleveland now and get ready for Monday Night Football with their season hanging on by a thread. Now 2 games behind the Ravens in the AFC North, 2 games behind the Bengals in the AFC North as well. A devastating loss, a game the Browns had to have. They did not have it again. They shouldn't have been in a position where an official call could make a difference, but today the officials certainly did the Browns no favors, and they did no favors themselves. Turnovers, special teams, short fields for the Ravens, and good teams like Baltimore, they capitalize on those things, and the Browns could not get it done. A day in which the stats would say they outplayed the Ravens, they outgained them, they were more efficient than the Ravens. I thought RD did a great job. But again, we haven't put together a full game. We have not played offense, defense, and special teams. Early in the season, good offense, bad defense, loss. Today, good defense, pretty good offense. Special teams, didn't get it done, gave up that short field, loss. The Browns have got to figure out how to stop losing before they can figure out how to start winning. And the time for that, folks, is right now. Disappointing, 2-5. Disappointing, 23-20 loss here in Baltimore.